Hello, fellow diecasters, and welcome to another insane episode here on Diecast Insanity. Today, I've got a little bit of a showcase for you guys. I was looking through the Tall Marts guide, and I was looking through Wiki, and got to noticing that there's only 8 total releases, different cars from Aston Martin released by Hot Wheels. I got to looking at it, and out of the 8, I have 7. Out of the 7, 5 of my 7 are first editions. So I thought we would do a little showcase here and take a look at each one of these cars. I only have one. I'm only missing one Aston Martin that they have made that I don't have a representation of, and I'm currently hunting for that car, and we'll talk about that when we come to it. So I thought we would look at these in the years that they were released. I'll let you know which ones of mine are first editions, and how many releases there's been and all that kind of stuff. So let me get set up and we'll take a look at the first car. Alright, so the first Aston Martin that Hot Wheels did was in 2005, and it was the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. And this is the first edition and the only color, I believe, of that release. Now, this car has since been changed. I believe it happened in 2016. The older cars, the grill piece is actually a piece of the interior. In the newer cars, this grill piece is now part of the body itself, so it's made out of metal. And I believe that happened in 2016. There is a 2020 release of this car. There will be a 5-pack release this year. I'm not sure if it's been released yet. I don't think I've seen it yet. But that was the last time this car was released. As you can see, this car has Faster Than Evers on it, and is in this beautiful, beautiful yellow. So that's the first Aston Martin Hot Wheels ever did in 2005. So very, very cool. Then comes the car that I'm hunting for. In 2009, was it 2009? Yeah, in 2009, they released the Aston Martin DB. This says DB4 GT Zagato. If you look it up on eBay, it's actually listed as a DB5 GT Zagato. There's only 4 versions of this car, all from the Hot Wheels Classic Series 5 set. There's a red, 2 dark greens, and a black, but the black almost looks blue. If you look at it here, it's almost a blue. And so those are kind of hard to find. I've looked at them on eBay. I actually bid on one here recently on one of the green ones, but I got outbid. I wasn't willing to pay what they were asking for. But I'm currently searching for this car to add to my collection, so I have at least one representation of every Aston Martin that Hot Wheels has done. And this one's the rarest. There's only 4 releases. 3 of them were single cars in the Hot Wheels Classic set, and then 1 was in the 5-car set for the Classics. And this one actually has, as you can see, it actually has rubber tires on it. So this one's probably even going to be a little harder to... That one also shows it. I think they were released in both regular tires and rubber tires. So it's kind of interesting there. Because if you look at, there's 2 green ones listed. Metal, unpainted base, clear, cream. As you can see, this is RR 8-spoke wheels, which is Real Riders 8 spokes. So there was a Real Rider version of the green one, and then of course the black one, which almost looks blue, has Real Riders on it as well. And that was a Walmart exclusive 5-car pack for that car. So that's the one I'm in search of. Next up, we have released in 2010. This one happens to be a 2012. This is the second release of the DBS. Now, if you look at this car, it does look a lot like the V8 Vantage. We'll put them side by side so you guys can tell. There is some subtle differences. The hoods are different, as you can tell. This one has 4 little slits in it. The back is a little bit different. Dang it, stop. Just sit still, for crying out loud. So, and then, of course, this front has a cast-in grille. I at first thought this car was the recast of the V8 Vantage, when in actuality it is the DBS. So it is a different car. As you can see, the gas cap's in a slightly different location, but they are awfully close. So you need to, if you have both these cars, double check them and make sure that you don't have, you may think you've got two V8 Vantages and you might actually have the DBS. Last release for the DBS was in 2019. So last year. So really nice car. So take a look at your cars. You may mistake the DBS for the V8 Vantage. So next up we have the 2011 mainline release of the 177. This is the first edition. I believe it is the only color that year. Very, very cool car. Its latest release happens to be in the ID set, so it'll have Spectra Flame paint. Very nice car. I've seen pictures of it. Haven't seen it yet in real life, but it looks like it's going to be a really neat looking car. This car was also released in This was also released in 2016 in the GT Gran Turismo set. I have that car as well in the silver with these kind of ghosted gray stripes across the top and the car number on it. So I believe that's silver paint. I believe this is not Zamac. Yeah, it's silver paint. So, but it was also released there. And then the latest release will be this year. Well, actually it said last year. It was 2019 in the ID set, so it's already been out in the ID set. Next up, next release from Hot Wheels came in 2014, and it was the vintage DB5. Very, very cool car. Very sweet car. This is actually the 5th release of the DB5. This one's from 2015. And then the latest release is in 2019 in the Forza. And then it was also released in 2018 in the Screen Time. I have that one as well for Skyfall from James Bond movies. So I have this silver one as well. Elijah has a black one that's fairly old. I'm not sure what release his is. I did not do the research on that car. But he also has a DB5 as well. I believe it is newer than this one, and it's in between that one and this one, if I remember right. But classic Aston Martin. If you're an Aston Martin collection, you need to have a DB5 in your collection. Alright, so the next release, I was a little disappointed in, but it's still a very cool car. I wish they would have made the front on this adjustable on this car. This happens to be the 2015 first edition release, second color of the Vantage GT race car. Still a cool car. Like I said, I'd wish this lip would have been adjustable. I think that lip just looks terrible on this car. Almost makes me want to buy another one and see if I can't make a better car out of it. That might be a new custom project coming up. Might have to buy one of these and pick that up and do a custom of it. Last time it was seen was in 2018. We haven't seen it since then. But you never know what might happen down the road. I like to see him do maybe a GT series car culture would be cool, and have this car and the Vette and a Beamer and a Porsche, and would be really, really cool to have. So I believe the first release of this car was a white base with black stripes on it, same paint scheme as this one. I believe that was what the first color was. So, very nice car. Wish they would have made the front end a little better, but they did that for track use. But maybe we'll get a better version of that car down the road. Next up, we have the 2016 first edition release. This first came out in 2016 of the DB10. Now mine's in the package because it's part of my Bond collection. This package is getting a little worn, not too bad though. But this is there's only 4 releases of this car, 2 mainline, and then 2 entertainment releases. A retro entertainment, which Elijah has. I tried to find it so we could show you the premium version of this car as well, but I couldn't find it. He's got 90% of his collection is still in the box from our last move. And like, if you guys caught my haul video that will be up before this, you know we're going to be moving again, so maybe this time he'll get all his cars up. But he has the first retro entertainment release, and then there is another retro entertainment release that came out last year in the newer, what they're calling entertainment series now. So, but only 4 versions of this car to be had as of right now, but still very, very nice. Still very cool. Still Aston Martin-y. You can still see the Aston Martin lineage in this car, but very, very cool. Very nice car. Whoop. And then last but not least, we've probably got one of the coolest cars I've ever seen in my life. I'm a little disappointed that this car was done with the plastic bubble roof window combo, but it's still very, very cool. And that is the last year's release of the Aston Martin Vulcan. As you know, it was only released last year in one color. Has already been released this year in another color, which I have, the white with the red stripes on it. I still have that car. It's in the package. And then it was also released in the Target Reds edition here recently, and I'm not sure if that has been released yet or is going to be released. So you might want to hunt that down. So there's 3 releases so far of the Aston Martin Vulcan. This green from 2019, a white from this year from the A or B case, something like that, and then a Target Red edition that will be either out or is coming out. So those are all the Aston Martins, all 8 of them. You've got 7 represented here, plus the one that I am currently hunting for. If you guys know a lead on one or something, then let me know, and we might be able to work out a deal. But I'm looking for that DB5 or DB4 Zagato car for my collection, so I have at least one representation of every Aston Martin. So very cool car. Very, very historic British car. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little showcase of all the Aston Martins that Hot Wheels has done. Very cool cars, very sweet cars. I love Aston Martins. It's one of my favorite British cars. Too bad it's no longer British owned like everything else that's owned that came from Britain. Jaguar, all the Austin Minis, all those cars are now owned by other foreign companies, no longer owned by British hands anymore, which I think is very sad. But still very, very sweet cars. I hope they keep continuing on with the Aston Martins. I'd love to see a Aston Martin Vantage, a V8 Vantage, or not Vantage, but a Aston Martin, I can't think of it right now. There's another really cool hybrid Aston Martin, and I can't think of the name right off the top of my head, that I'd love to see Hot Wheels do, which would be very, very sweet to see. But hopefully they'll be able to do that. I'd like to see them maybe go back in time a little bit with Aston Martin, like they did with the DB5. Me and Elijah were talking about a really cool set we would love to see from Hot Wheels and Car Culture, which they have the licenses to do all of them. It would be Legends of Group C, which I think would be very, very sweet. And come to find out, one of the cars we were talking about, Hot Wheels has done already. But it came to them through the purchase of Matchbox. It came through the Corgi and was only released in Europe. But we were thinking the 5-car set would be the Porsche 962, the Mazda 878B or 787B, and the other 3 cars we were thinking about was be the Jaguar. I can't think of the name right off the top of my head. That's the one that they've already done. They acquired that casting through the purchase of Matchbox and Corgi. Was released twice in Europe and then never made it to the States. And I'm looking for that car as well. I'm looking for a Hot Wheels version It was released in a single and a 5-pack. I had found one of the 5-packs on eBay, but they were asking over $100 for it. I want to get that car. The other two that we were talking about, and they also have licenses for, would be the Mercedes C9, which would be really cool to have in a Hot Wheel. And then possibly the Lancia LC6, I think is what it's called, would be a really cool one. Or the Aston Martin that was made for Group C that never really got to show its legs because it was made towards the end of the Group C era, and Group C got phased out in World Sports Car. But that would be a really sweet car too, and they have licenses for all those cars. So Hot Wheels, if you're listening, Legends of Group C would be a very cool car culture set in my mind, and I think it would sell too. I really do. The next set that they're coming out with some very sweet cars. We've got 2 Lancias coming, one this year in car culture, one next year in the main line. Love to see a Group B, Legends of Group B rally set in car culture. Would be really cool too, and they have all the cars. This next set coming up is probably the closest you're going to get to a Group B rally set, which is really sweet. So it'd be nice to bring all those cars together into one car culture set, maybe next in 2021 or something. Would be really cool. So hope you guys enjoyed this little episode. Like I said before, I hope you're finding what you're looking for. Go check out the haul video from yesterday. I had a little bit of a haul, found a couple of cars, and got one in the mail from a purchase. So go check that out. It'll be up before this one. And just have a great week. Continue to have a great week. Have a great weekend. And remember, leave some on the pegs for the collectors in your area because they'd like to find these cars too. And I promise that we'll get back to the custom here soon. I'm just working on ideas for that car for interior purposes. So there's some things I'd like to do the interior on that car, and then we'll working on the body and getting it all shaped for the tires and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get back to that car here soon. So have a great week. I promise there'll be some 3 for Thursdays. I promise I'm going to shoot some tomorrow and get those done and up and get those done and shot and edited and everything so they can be uploaded. I might even freaking upload them and schedule them for release for you guys so they'll just automatically release. So be on the lookout for those two. Have a great week. I'm out, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.